Welcome back to Unlock Jenkins Pipeline Secret Series, and also welcome to our YouTube channel IT Engineers 99. Please try to subscribe if you like and join into our channel Telegram DevOps Dummies. As part of the series, in the previous recorded session, we explored a few key fundamental points. I noted almost 10 to 12 points. Let us talk those things and practically prove it using Jenkins Web UI tool. So let's start discussions. The first point is what is pipeline? Everyone is aware of the word called pipeline. Even I don't want to special introduce, but as part of the discussion, the pipeline is nothing but collection of series of stages which you use to automate your workflow. We already explored theoretically in the last 2 days, the last two videos. Here, the pipeline is nothing but a collection of stages. The stages are nothing but checkout stage, build stage, test stage, package stage, deployment to the production, pre-production to the production, and we have various series of phases. Each and every phase is having plugins. Without plugin, it's highly impossible to automate your workflow. That's why technically we will say pipeline is a collection of a series of phases, and each and every phase is bounded with the plugin. That plugin will help us how to automate your workflow. So that's why in a simple standard point is using pipeline, we are trying to automate your software delivery. Using using pipeline, we are trying to automate your CI CD. Using pipeline, we are trying to automate how to develop, build, test, and deploy the applications. And one interesting point is always remember it. Pipelines are in general defined in the form of DSL, domain specific language. Domain specific language in the sense Jenkins had its own specification, Jenkins had its own language that help us how to define and how to configure the jobs. You know very well, one of the key element, key point is a job. What is a job in generally? Job is nothing but a kind of task. What type of job we are going to maintain? We have different types of jobs. Freestyle, Maven pipeline, a job, and multi-configurations, multi-branch pipeline, multi-job, folders, GitHub organizations. So here our concentration is only on pipeline. So if you want to build the pipeline, first and foremost thing is how to implement the pipeline. If you want to implement the pipeline, we need a plugin called as a pipeline itself. Keep this point. Pipeline. Pipeline is inbuilt-in plugin. If you are not installed the pipeline plugin during the installation of the Jenkins or after invoking the Jenkins, even though if there is no pipeline plugin, you cannot see the name of the job. So before dive into the theoretical part, what is a DSL, how many types of DSL? First, let us try to connecting to the Jenkins server, and let us launch the uh, Jenkins server, and we'll configure our simple job, right? Let us connect to the Jenkins server first. Now I'm going to, so here I configure Jenkins on uh, Amazon Web Services, AWS. Right now I'm in Mumbai region. My Jenkins server is running, and I launch the EC2 instance as a Amazon Linux. And here I'm not explaining how to install the Jenkins on the EC2 instance, how to launch the EC2 instances, what are the different ways. Right now I'm not talking, I'm not speaking. We have a separate sections there, will explain definitely. I think so who are watching this video. If you are coming to the first time, please try to excuse me. In later sessions or later videos, we'll definitely explain very simple from the scratch. So first, if I want to connect to the Jenkins server, you select this one and go and click on connect, and there is SSH client. Copy this and copy your SSH plugin. Sorry, SSH client. SSH is nothing but secure shell. And here, that's what I'm saying. My intention is not deviating around the dependent concepts. My concentration is, our concentration is completely on the Jenkins pipeline and the declarative pipeline, scripted pipeline, Groovy syntax, and how to build the logical programs. So towards the direction, my concentration is only on Jenkins Groovy as of our current plan. In future, I will definitely cover each and every piece of things. So first, copy this command, and please try to go to our downloads directory and where my PEM file was saved. So what is a PEM? What is the use of PEM? How to connect to the PEM? And if I lost the PEM, what we do? That things we'll discuss later. So just I paste inside my console window, and it is asking yes. Please press S. Now I connect it to my EC2 instance. EC2-user is the username, and this is called as the IP address of the machine, like private IP address. So if you want to see what is your operating system, see there is a command called uname. If I press uname, I am using Amazon Linux. If you want to see the complete information about the operating system, uname -a. So you will get complete Linux kernel and date and time when it is raised and what type of processor it is, like in terms of 64-bit or 32-bit. Let me clear the screen by pressing Ctrl L. Now I want to log in as a root user, sudo su-. Now here, if I want to access my web UI, first you should know what are the different ways of installations are there. First and foremost thing is, keep in mind, guys. So we have a different ways. That's why, sorry, there are different flavors of the Jenkins using by the software companies as per their requirement. So what are those flavors? If you see here, 1 second. Yeah, these are the different types of flavors, right? One is a Jenkins LTS, long time support. This is every 12 weeks, I think so. Jenkins community is releasing the versions actually. So if there are having any critical bugs, or if they want to maintain the stable features, every 12 weeks they are going to release, and which is mostly suitable for the production environment. I mean to say that stable environment, and weekly updates. So weekly updates in the sense like this is called suitable for the teams who are working on the latest version, and if they want to access some kind of new features, okay, and they want to handle those things, they can use a weekly release. But as per most of the times people use a LTS in one case. But if you come to the third one, is a Jenkins Evergreen. This is called old version, like it's a deprecated right now. I don't want to talk, you may get bored. And fourth one is a very important cloud-based Jenkins distribution. Cloud-based is a kind of proprietary, and it is a kind of license based, and most of the companies are using this the cloud base. Hope you who are working in corporate, they may heard about this cloud base Jenkins distribution, especially if you want to work for the enterprise level. If you want to maintain the robust security, then you go with this cloud based Jenkins distribution. Next, very powerful thing called Jenkinx. I will introduce some theory, and in the coming session we are going to develop, test, deploy the application through three different techniques. One is a Jenkins 2, next Jenkins X, third one is Argo CD. That's why that is the most important point. Wait, Jenkins X is a completely designed to work with the cloud environments. And if you want to purely work with the Kubernetes environment, if you want to work with these uh, Kubernetes, sorry guys, and more on, please try to excuse me. The last couple of days onwards, I'm not so well due to cold and cough. You may get some kind of a little bit noise as well as small disturbance in my throat. Please try to excuse me. So now come back. So Jenkins X. So Jenkins X is completely dedicated to the Kubernetes who are going to work with the Kubernetes environment, who wants to focus on your continuous delivery, and if you want to automate your CI/CD pipeline for cloud native applications. That's why I always like to speak more technical terms. Once you have standards about how to speak the technical terms, it is easy to enjoy the programming part. It is easy to enjoy the script implementation also. Next, blue version is a kind of richness given by the modern web UI interface to the Jenkins. Suppose richness of UI visualization. So even we have blue version plugins are there, and there is a pipeline as a code. You know very well. I don't want to say always, but we will see practically what is meant by pipeline as a code. It means Jenkins file. That's why someone will ask this question. Someone will ask these questions. Hey, what are the different types of pipelines in your project environment? Then most of the guys will say declarative pipeline and scripted pipeline. And there is a third one called as a Jenkins pipeline as a code. So if you want to pronounce, if you want to represent, if you want to say your answers to the people, you must have some maturity, and others members also have some maturity to understand. Otherwise, simply just use a common terminology. There are two types of pipelines: declarative pipeline, scripted pipeline. Wait, we'll see. Next, now you know very well. You can run your Jenkins as a Docker container. So containerizations and container orchestration is a leading the industry. So obviously, we'll definitely will concentrate on Docker and Kubernetes pipelines, and we'll effectively discuss those things in the Jenkins too. Or if you want to configure Jenkins on the Kubernetes cluster, you can use. So first of all, you should understand what are the various flavors of the Jenkins are there, which flavor you are using. Then what type of operating system? Like Jenkins is a server, you configure on which server. Right now I'm connecting to the Linux server, right? Linux server. So let's go log in as a root user. Now, right now my present working directory root, and so I'm using long-term support in my on AWS EC2 instance. I install Jenkins as a service. So how to install the Jenkins right now I'm not talking. So I want to start my services. So this is a one way to start the Jenkins. So to start my Jenkins systemctl start Jenkins. So that's why my concentration is not on the Linux right now. Of course, without Linux, you cannot. Linux is the heart of the DevOps engineer because every software environment, especially our CI/CD tools, completely configure on the Linux server. So one should strong on the Linux server and shell scripting and administration. It is always advantage. Okay, so now once my Jenkins server is running, you know very well my Jenkins server is running on the port 8080. This is the default port. That's what I'm saying. Right now, I'm not explaining what are the different ways of installing the Jenkins or configuring the Jenkins server. We have different ways. Definitely, we'll discuss. So default 8080. Next, that's why port knowledge. blocking, how to block the ports, unblock the ports, as well as a basic networking knowledge is always quite required thing as a as a Jenkins user or DevOps engineer. Okay, so now my EC2 instance is running. On top of it, my Jenkins running as a services. Now, how to access my web UI? Because you said we have a different ways are there to connecting to our Jenkins. One is a web UI, web UI. Second one is we have a Jenkins CLI, and the third one is a Jenkins API. Even fourth one, sorry, in this recorded video, I'm not in the coming session, I'll give the best of best secret, which is really useful in the live environment, which is very useful to some X team. There are certain times you need to work with the developers. You need to work with some separate teams, right? Separate teams in the sense as a part of SDLs. Then they'll ask a new requirement. So what is that requirement? What is the fourth techniques? Wait, we'll reveal the secrets in the next series 4. Okay. So right now, I'm going to connect, I'm going to access my Jenkins through web UI. So, or we can run our Jenkins job through Jenkins CLI, and we can also run your Jenkins API. So first we'll focus on the web UI. How to access web UI? So now Jenkins server is running here, instance state is running. Now come to the details tab, copy your public IP, select the public IP and open the new tab with the IP address and 8080. Just hit it. Now you will get a dashboard. Now here, if you are a beginner, you will enjoy my explanation. If you are noise user, you will enjoy it if you really understand my terminology. If you are experienced people, now people get a question. It's a very simple. Every person, what the people are saying is also saying. I too accept it. But wait a couple of minutes, we'll reveal the secrets. The first secret is right now, see, it's not secure. So, but in the corporate world, our Jenkins server is configuring on the Linux environment. So, how to protect the security? That's why how to configure your HTTPS and SSL. Next, in corporate world, you cannot access through IP address. They will give the domain name. Then, whenever you enter your domain like gmail.com or xyz.com, the same way, whenever you enter some jenkins.com, automatically Jenkins should open. Whenever you work, suppose you're working in Amazon or you're working on some Wipro, then whenever say Wipro dot some domain name, automatically Jenkins should open. How? You need a DNS. So if you want to configure DNS in our environment in the cloud, you need a Route 53. And 80 is nothing but port number. So if you open this one, copy this address bar, and if you paste, see HTTP, it is not secure. HTTP protocol, IP address, and port number. So call as a what? Socket. So what is use of socket in networking? To communicate to my endpoint, to communicate my software. That's why this is not at all advisable thing. So in the corporate culture, they will completely hidden. They completely hide it, right? That's why in the uh, last video, I already explained whether you implement or not Linux server administration, you should always attached. So that's why having Linux administration skill is always added advantage to the DevOps engineer. Trust me, and also please try to work on it. So right now, I'm just blindly go to the HTTP. In the coming sessions, once you complete our Groovy scripting, I will also explain some kind of administration topics. There I can configure like how to configure the DNS, how to protect your Jenkins URL. Then you may focus on monitoring and you may focus on the backups. So like a number of administrations activities are there. Okay, next. So once my Jenkins UI is up, see looking at this is a dashboard. But right now, I want to log in. Just click on the login. Login in the sense authorization, sorry, authentication. So any tool you talk, GitHub or Jenkins or Docker Hub or ArgoCD or whatever your Kubernetes cluster, whatever the tool you are talking, server-side tool, it requires a authentication, authorization, access control, and audit. So again, what? Administration. That's why in AWS you learn the IAM. Why? Why you are learning the IAM? Now in the corporate culture, how these users are configured. In Jenkins, how many types of users are there? Like who is the administrator and who is the project user? That's why again administration topic. So that's why each and every stage administration is help you a lot. So right now I'm logging as admin. Just click on sign in. So right now I logged as my admin user. So so when you want to connect to the Jenkins server, first you should know whether Jenkins server is running or not. That's whether you implement or not, whether you have experienced about the administration in the Linux or not. It is always touch with you. So that's why always remember the importance of Linux server administration. So this is called Jenkins Web UI. So this is called logo and dashboards, and I have already some sample of jobs I ran it. And if you scroll down, see Jenkins 2.46.462.1. This is called 2 major version, minor version, either hotfix uh, or fix pack. Generally, a patch you can say, right? Major version dot, minor version dot patch. This is called as a build numbering format. So Jenkins is written in the Java. That's before dive into the any job. The first of all, three things you have to understand. So Jenkins is written in Java, and most of the plugins in written in the Java with extension called HPI and JPI and XML. Your entire job configuration, whether you working on freestyle or pipeline job or multi-branch pipeline, whatever the job, the whole jobs are saved in the XML configuration. So I think so, as per my personal experience, one should have an idea about XML architecture, XML architecture in the sense how the jobs are saved in the XML. So what is a job? Job folder structure. That's if you're looking at previous recorded a video, I mentioned a point very strictly. Uh, Jenkins folder architecture or Jenkins folder plugin architecture, you should know it. Then they use JavaScript, HTML, CSS to improve our web UI. So these are the basic technology they use because to view our web UI, right? Okay. So finally, I landed in the Jenkins web UI window. Now, what is our first discussion? I want to create a job. What kind of job? Is a freestyle or a pipeline? Pipeline. Our target is a pipeline. How to create a pipeline job? Just go and click on new item. I mentioned very clearly, if you want to create a job as a pipeline, your Jenkins must have a plugin database. In that plugin database, there is a one plugin called as a pipeline. The name of the plugin itself called as a pipeline. Because of that pipeline is installed, you are seeing the pipeline job. So right now, suppose so there is a job name, for example, pipeline demo is the name of the job name. This is called my job name. So now I'm selecting the pipeline. I'm selecting the pipeline, right? Click on OK. So whenever I click on OK, you are seeing the pipeline window. Now from here onwards, you want to stress more technical points. What is that? So how many types of pipelines? Okay. So if you go to uh, if you go to my prepared doc, see, uh, one of the main key point here is Jenkins always follows the DSL, right? In the beginning of the discussion, I said DSL, domain specific language. We have a different types of DSL, like a job DSL and a pipeline DSL. So DSL, job DSL right now, I don't want to touch. If I touch it, again, the overall object will miss it, will come back. Very simple. Everyone is aware of the freestyle. Freestyle in the sense you will go through the freestyle, select your options manually, and you can create and you can define your job. Suppose the same job you want to run on different environments. Again, go back to that environment, again, reconfigure the entire freestyle job is a headache process. So instead of doing it manually, if you install the job DSL plugin, remember it. That's in the beginning of the session I said pipeline is a collection of plugins. That's why there is a one DSL. The DSL is saying like a job DSL as well as a pipeline DSL. So you need to install both plugins if you want to work on it. So right now my concentration is only on the pipeline. So how many types of pipelines? Two types of pipelines, declarative pipeline and scripted pipeline. So declarative pipeline is starts with the pipeline block. Everyone know that. So pipeline block, right? And scripted pipeline is going to start with a node block, and you know very well. Okay, but we should explain. We should know more information about the declarative and scripted pipeline. That's why I will separately record one more 10 minutes video. There we can see what is the differences between declarative and scripted pipeline. So first of all, uh, apart from this two, we have a different plugin, a different pipelines also there. So that's why I said, right, it's a multi-branch pipeline. And uh, there is a shared libraries concept and there is a pipeline libraries concept. And you should know in which context we have to pronounce. But in generally, using these two terms is enough. One is the declarative pipeline and scripted pipeline. But based on how you configure the pipeline and which context you are recalling the some concepts, based on that, people will generally term it. But without any confusion, you just follow. One is declarative pipeline, second one is a scripted pipeline. So first of all, let us go with the declarative pipeline because you guys are very uh, you are having some interest and you maybe wait for practical part. Yes, guys, here I'm here to explain the practical thing only. In the beginning, all I said, right, there should be a roadmap is required. If you want to write down the complex programs, if you want to write down the complex programs, first you should have a basic idea about it. So my intention is I want to cover some beginners who are really come to our channel. They must understand. That's the reason I'm giving a series of videos. So pipeline. So first you should understand the pipeline. One second. Pipeline. So pipeline is a main block. Declarative pipeline starts with the pipeline block. Pipeline and this is something like, right? So it starts with the pipeline block and end with the braces. So first of all, so pipeline, start the braces and the braces. So inside the pipeline block. And one more thing is no semicolon required every end of the statement. Like you should not give it. So that's what we will discuss slowly. Or no, don't use a semicolon at every end of the statement. And pipeline follows the syntax YAML like, not exactly YAML like you can call it. So this pipeline contains different types of keywords, right? What are the keywords, guys? You know very well. One is sections, sections, sections. Second one is directives, directives. And third one is steps. Now, now people will get one more question. Okay, guys, You are saying you are using Jenkins pipeline. You are following declarative pipeline. Cool. How to represent this pipeline syntax in Jenkins? So because you are writing the pipeline syntax, pipeline as a code, right? So what are the different tools available to represent your pipeline? Suppose if you are in a Jenkins, that's the reason I'm introducing one more beautiful uh, uh, tools. That's one of the important concept is they'll ask, what are the different CI/CD pipeline approaches? So you can write your pipeline in the Jenkins 2. This is called Jenkins 2, and you can also develop your own scripts in the Jenkins X, and you can also uh, define your pipeline in the ArgoCD. So Jenkins 2, Jenkins X, and ArgoCD. Our target is these three tools. That's why n number of approaches are there to define your CI/CD pipeline based on the tool, either it's a GitLab or GitHub Actions, right? The same way in the flavor of the Jenkins to Jenkins X and Argo CD. So first we'll focus on the Jenkins 2, then I will explain when I go for Jenkins X and when I go for the Argo CD. So wait, but remember it. If someone asks you CI/CD pipeline scripts approaches, could you please tell me what are the available CI/CD approaches? You know that. Then Jenkins 2 is completely focused on the declarative pipeline as well as a scripted pipeline. Here, underline both the techniques will use the Groovy engine, right? But Jenkins X purely supports the AML based, and this is also AML based. This is AML based, and both tools supports the GitOps. That's why if I say like these terms, you'll get confused. Definitely will wash out each and every basic thing to the advanced. But remember it, declarative pipeline and scripted pipelines are completely supported in the native CI/CD platform called Jenkins 2, and already discussed. Plugin supports are there, multiple environments are there, all the tools will be integrated, platform independent, language supports, and operating system independent. Support develop in the Java, custom plugins are there, right? We can have a job configurations, we can export the jobs, we can import the jobs. Anyway, it will have a lot of features are there. But Jenkins X and Argo CD, especially Jenkins X, is completely deal with the cloud native applications. Like if you want to deploy the applications in the cloud based, if you want to deploy the containerized based applications using Docker, Helm, and Kubernetes combination, we can use a Jenkins X. There, the entire CI/CD is going to revolve around it's the GitOps. So GitOps. In the Git only we configure everything like provisioning and infrastructure related and manifesto files. Everything we configure in the Jenkins, sorry, in the Git, and we'll integrate with the YAML files. So that's the wait. I don't want to give the explanation on the fly. You should have a solid foundation required before building the application scripts. Okay. Now we are going to talk declarative scripted pipelines. The two we are focusing on declarative pipeline. So our concentration is only on declarative. Okay. So first of all, what is the section in the declarative? Just I'll give the small tip. Declarative in the declarative pipeline sections, nothing but it defines the structure of the pipeline. Simple. Section always defines the structure. Within the structure, we have stages and steps. You know very well. And the directives. This is the most heart of the pipeline. Directives defines the configuration. Defines the configuration. Defines the configuration. Defines the configuration. So what is going to be defined? Wait, suppose I want to run the pipeline at specific time. I want to trigger my pipeline at specific time. I want to automatically remove some job after when my pipeline is taking too much time, and I want to pass some input parameters to my pipelines. So how you configure your job? How you configure your job, right? Configuration. Remember it. Configuration. That's there are 9 directives are there in the directives, right? We'll discuss. Like we have a input, and we have environment, and we have options. We have options, right? And we have parameters, parameters, and even we have triggers. Okay, so like we have different types of things are there. Like even there is a tools directives, tools directives. So I said like a cron, right? So even when, even stage. Again, remember it. Jenkins has its own DSL. In the beginning, I said DSL, domain specific language. It will define you, it will create you, it will explain you how to configure the job. First, right, adopt the term. We'll dive deeply into the scripting world. So, three things: sections, directives, and steps. Steps in the sense, very well, actions. What are the actions I'm going to perform? That depends on your flow. So where you are going to perform on the server, which server? Windows server. If it is a Windows server, bad commands are there. If you are a Linux server, you can use a shell sh. Even you can follow some kind of commands. We'll discuss. We have some commands, right? So pipeline is, if the any pipeline starts with a pipeline block, that's called declarative pipeline. So let us go and create a sample pipeline. Now, right now I'm in the pipeline demo. So pipeline demo is our name of the job. And if you just scroll down, see there is a pipeline definition. There is a pipeline definition. There are two types of definitions in the pipeline. One is a pipeline script and pipeline script from SEM. So that's why keep in mind here the pipelines are defined in two ways. One is, that's if someone asks this question, what is a pipeline definition? Say two things like pipeline script, right? Second one is pipeline script from SEM. So right now I'm selecting the pipeline script. Just to scroll down. If you want to run with the sample pipelines, you just go to the drop down and select your hello world, simple hello world. So here you just copy, Control C, open and paste. So pipeline start with the braces, and with the braces, and the stages. Yes, stages. Stages is nothing but a collection of stage. You need to define a stage, guys. The stage name is a meaningful, like you are going to deal with which workflow. In that workflow, how many stages are there? Each and every stage you have to define a meaningful name, like a build stage, test stage, compile stage, package stage, and image creation, pushing the images, deployment to the cluster, and monitoring, whatever it is, that meaningful name. So stages start with the braces and with the braces, and that's why stage, at least one stage is required. Within the stage, at least one step is required. This is always what thumb rule, remember it. And the entire pipeline we are going to run on where? Jenkins. Jenkins is supports a multi-node concept, simply called as a master-slave concept. If you want to distribute the build on multiple nodes, so the job is going to run on which node? That's how to configure. How can I say that my pipeline is going to run on which job, which node? That's why who will say that? That's called agent. So agent is a section, I can say, right? Not a directive, sections. If you still worry about the vocabulary, just short the, or maybe remove it. But vocabulary how to remove it, vocabulary how to maintain it. Directives is hot. If there is no directive, you cannot configure your Jenkins. So pipeline, this pipeline is going to run on available node. We'll discuss. Right now I have only one master. That master is going to, that's why in the previous record video I explain one more term, pipeline architecture. Wait, that's why I don't want to rush. I don't want to simply explain on the fly without any proper explanations. So go in a step by step manner. Okay, so the stage and the steps. Inside the steps I want to print hello world with call echo is a command. This is called as a pipeline script. Now, how to run it? How to run it? Just apply and save it. So once you save it, so wait a couple of seconds. It's going to uh, take you back to the WebUI window where we can run it. See, pipeline demo is the name of the job. So if you scroll down, and if you look at the left hand side, there are a lot of options are there. See, especially rename. If you want to rename the job, if you want to see the stages, if you want to work with the blue version plugins, if you want to delete, if you want to reconfigure it, and if you want to run our pipeline, just click on pipeline. See, whenever click on pipeline, in the build history, the pipeline is running on. Now I got the green mark. That's what is a green pass, like success. That's what is a success, what is a failure, what is a unstable, what is a abort build, what is meant by build, how many types of builds, what is a build status, we need to understand. Just go and click on the go inside the results window. You can see uh, the results. So this is a sample simple demonstration, and in the coming section we'll go deeply into the declarative pipeline. There I will explain a lot of terms. So it includes, so if I click on console, I can see the output of the Jenkins results window. Jenkins results in the sense jobs related window. So you can see the logs. And one more thing, remember it, Jenkins has its, like a declarative pipeline has its own error handler. So whenever you do some mistake, it automatically recognizes it. See, started by the user and running on this space where lib Jenkins workspace. Where lib Jenkins is the default home directory for the Jenkins. Under workspace folder, our jobs are saved. That's why wait, we'll discuss heavily on it and start with the pipeline. And our stage name is hello. The output of the stage is hello world, and finally we got the success. So if you're looking at left hand side, there is an option called restart from stage. This is one of the major differences between declarative pipeline and scripted pipeline. In a declarative pipeline, if I have a 5 stages, if one of the stage is a failure, you don't need to restart the execution from the scratch. You just click on restart from stage. If I again click on it, right, we have only one stage, right? We have only one stage. But if you have 5 stages, yes, I will show you how to run the particular fail stage. This option is not available in the scripted pipeline. That's a way it will give the top solid differences between the scripted pipeline and declarative pipeline. So wait, we'll have lots of scripts. That's I said, my humble request is you should have some patience. Then only you get a lot of. See, whenever I click on the restart from stage, I got one drop down. So this drop down is nothing but how it is created. I will show you demo. I will technically show you. So right now I have only one. If I go and click on run it, again it rerun the same stage. That's why first understand any tool, not only Jenkins, even go to the Kubernetes. Go to the Kubernetes, very advanced tool. A lot of companies are asking. First, you should understand the core points. People are really crazy. I don't know. Of course, even when I started the career in the 2014 with the DevOps side, so I too. But my previous experience will taught me so many lessons in the live environment. That's why we know how to looking at the tool and what are the various configurations are there. So remember it, don't simply listen the video and any concept never comes very easily within 30 minutes or within 1 2 days or within 30 days. It won't happen, and I don't know. Personally, I feel it. So now see, pipeline demo is running. So even if you see the results, we can. That's why wait. We'll come back and I will explain you more technical points. What is the directives? Especially wait. I have one secret will be revealed by the next video. There I can demonstrate. So hope you understand. And before stop this session, just summarize what is a pipeline, how many types of pipelines are there, what are the different flavors are there, and what are the different CI/CD pipeline approaches are there, and what is a Jenkins to Jenkinx and ArgoCD, and the differences, and how to connect into the Jenkins server, and how to create the jobs, and how to run the jobs. Tomorrow onwards, I mean to say that next time onwards, when you see my recorded video, you will get a lot of information. Just I just gave a kick to start. Okay, so thank you so much. Catch you in the next series.